your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Chrissie is hilarious.
Chrissie, have you ever heard of the comedian Basha K. Ali?
No, that sounds like something you yell out before you blow up a plane.
30 seconds remaining.
But you know what good to say? I doubt it will stand up to something. I haven't been disrespectful to you at all.
I was very confused by the title, Everything Everywhere All at Once, because that's also what we call it when Ash takes off his shirt. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school on the other side of the ocean. Hello. Sorry for being late. I was here on time and then I got carried away talking to Bree Solstad. We were DMing. Yes, check out what is happening with my hair. It's like I don't even care anymore. It's fine. It's late. I'm a mom. I'm off the hook. Please check out Welcome to the Chrissie Mayr podcast. I will be reviewing Matt Walsh's Am I Racist documentary, which came out, I believe, last weekend. I remember I saw all these pictures with all these, shall we call them influencers, friends? I don't know. Everyone was at the big premiere. My invitation must have somehow got lost in the mail, as it does with these things. But they had a big premiere, I assume, at the Daily Wire down there in Tennessee. And I didn't get the chance to see it till just tonight, this afternoon. So I'm really excited to talk about that. But first, I have to promote myself. Guys, remember I do comedy? Come see me. Gosh, in 3 weeks, I'll be doing stand-up out here in New York, in Westchester, Mount Kisco, to be exact. Kisco Comedy Night, Saturday, October 5th. Nice early 7 o'clock show out here in Mount Kisco in Westchester, New York. 11 Carpenter Avenue. Come see myself, the very funny Gino Bisconti, and the very funny Fred Rubino. I'm not sure if there will be others, but the three of us, that's plenty of show. It's going to be very funny, probably slightly racist, but hilarious and worth it. So if you're in the New York area or if you're in Connecticut, Jersey, come on out. Come on out. This is the chance. This is the chance to see me. Because the bean is so little, and so I can't really tour around the country just yet. Because he's still on the boob. But anyway, so I just saw... I keep wanting to say, Am I a Woman? No, that was his other one. That was his other film. This was Am I Racist? And I remember after the Daily Wire put out their film called Lady Ballers with my good friend Tyler Fisher was in it. I think Matt Walsh was in that one too. A bunch of characters from the Daily Wire. I remember after that movie came out thinking like, man, okay, this is great. The right is participating in culture. I love that the Daily Wire is making films, but I wish that they had a theater release. I was like, okay, well, how many people are gonna sign up for the Daily Wire just to watch Lady Ballers? And I was a bit like dismayed. I was like, oh, it'd be interesting to see what the turnout would be if they were in theaters. And here we have Am I Racist out in theaters. So I got my wish. So I went, took my mother-in-law. She went in wearing a Trump hat. So we went to the 4:30 showing over at the Palisades Ball, which is like, I guess is it Westchester? I don't know. Upstate New York. Where do I live? What's going on? And there were how many people in the audience? 3 other people in our row. Again, this is 4:30 on a Monday. So maybe there was 15 people in the theater. And it was kind of a smaller theater. It exceeded my expectations. My God, so it's a documentary, right? Film, whatever. I was laughing the entire time. Like, I was laughing at, like, a lot of times at comedy shows, I'll laugh at a premise. Like, I'll laugh at just the beginning of a joke, and so that was happening a lot. A lot other times at the beginning of a scene, I would just find myself laughing because 'cause I'm like, "Oh, I know where this is going." So basically it's Matt Walsh. He starts out, um I really appreciated his tactic for this documentary because he's like, well, all these race hustlers and race baiters, people who profit off of racism, they all been telling us what since 2020. As white people, we have to do the work, we have to do better. You guys know all the catchphrases, right? So Matt Walsh actually takes himself through the steps of like, okay, well, if I am doing better, what does that entail? And he finds that doing better in the eyes of an activist or race hustler is simply just consuming all their products, right? Buying Robin DiAngelo's book, buying all the how to be anti-racist books, paying for these seminars, listening to these speakers, and I love the way he does it because he tallies up, like, how much everything costs, like, all these books, and he shows the price of, like, well, if you wanna listen to this person speak to do the work, you gotta spend thousands of dollars these people are charging. He interviewed the woman, you guys in the chat might remember, there was a boy at a college who a couple of boys who went two boys who went viral. They were called out at a college library. They were just studying. They're just like minding their own business, it looked like. One had a police lives matter sticker on the back of his laptop, and the other, they were both just white guys studying. And this black girl's like videoing them both, being like, "Oh, you guys are why we need our own spaces. We don't feel safe here. We need multicultural libraries." And the guys were like, well, we're just trying to do our work. And she's like, you have a police lives matter sticker on your laptop. That's racist. And they're like, what? So Matt Walsh got that girl to be interviewed for this. And she had the most expensive price tag of anyone, I believe. Or no, maybe it was somebody else. No, she charged like a couple $1,000s. No, okay. The woman with the most expensive price tag to be interviewed by Matt Walsh was the woman. I guess there was an event at a Sesame Place a couple years ago where where a mascot character supposedly snubbed two like little black girls, and the mom, of course, took this as the opportunity to. I'm sure she sued or pressed charges or whatever theme park it was. She raised hell and got some sort of insane settlement. And this woman charged Matt Walsh 50 grand. I was blown away. And he does it in such a masterful way. Like he really just gives them gives them rope and lets them talk. He goes through what were some of the other highlights? Yeah, so he starts out, he goes to this one like focus group, right? Of how to be anti-racist, and he goes without any kind of disguise. He just goes in his classic Matt Walsh look, which with his like his thick hair, his thick beard, his button down flannel shirt, and he's kind of just being himself, like he's chiming in like a bit too much. And then the woman's talking about like, oh well, if you guys, this woman's like this like small black woman is giving this seminar. Well, she looks mixed or light skinned or whatever, and she's like, just letting you guys know, like I don't feel safe in white spaces. I don't feel safe if there's predominantly white people around. Yet her literal job is like teaching white people how not to be racist. And Matt Walsh is like, oh, you don't feel safe in this circle right now? Like just letting you know you feel safe. He was just calling out her bullshit, really. And I think he sort of like he chimed in one too many times, and then at one point he left the room to go use like the cry room. And when he came back, they had figured out who he was. And I don't know how, because Matt Walsh, despite, being very popular with, I'm sure people watching are very familiar with him. I would still consider this just like a niche, smaller part of the internet. despite having 3 million followers on Twitter, I don't think Matt Walsh is a household name at this point. So I was really surprised how these people were able to suss him out, and I was wondering which one of them had recognized him. But when he came back into the room, they were all like, "We don't feel safe. We're asking you to leave. The jig is up." And he was like, "What?" So it's after this moment that he realizes he needs a disguise, and he's like, I gotta dress like an ally. And then he flashes back to what is a woman, and one of the men that he interviews for that has these like gold framed like aviator, almost like 70s style glasses, and like tight pants. So Matt Walsh like dons these skinny jeans and these, low like white sneakers, and he's got this like wig with the man bun, and he doesn't even shave his beard. He just adds the wig. So then he goes about the rest of the documentary with this wig on, and the Google reverse image search. Yes, there was a cry room. You know what, guys? If you're well behaved, maybe this can turn into a gaming stream. Yeah, Walsh talking to the white teenagers was the best part. Yeah. Okay, so then I'm probably gonna describe this completely out of order, but he starts with the one seminar, and he's like, "Well, I guess I have to." Then he goes to this bookstore, and it's like this white woman is showing him around this bookstore. Oh gosh, time to cough. Sorry, I've had this makeup on like kind of all day, and I've been like the baby's been drooling on me and smearing it around. So if I look a bit unkempt, that's why. So then Matt Walsh goes to this bookstore. He's like, I guess I have to start reading anti-racist books. And this white girl who works at the bookstore is like, oh, this whole section is anti-racist books. It's a huge section. And so he buys a few books. One of them is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo, which is like the book, which is like the anti-racist book. It really blew up in 2020 after our dear Saint George Floyd left us. And so he reads that and a few others, and then he just goes through the process of like he's like, well, I'm just doing the work. I'm just doing the work. And he just lets these people talk and explain themselves, and they sound absolutely ridiculous. And he exposes them for being the grifting race hustlers that they are. He just sort of effortlessly tricks some of the biggest race grifters of our time, simply by just sounding like a white guy who was trying to, do the work. He lets them talk, and they kind of humiliate themselves. The biggest probably get was Robin DiAngelo herself. Got her, he's in his bun wig, got her to sit down, do an interview. And, like, I give Matt credit. He's actually I wouldn't call him a comedian per se. People like to throw that term around a lot. Like, just if somebody happens to be funny, they're a comedian. No, I don't think you're a comedian unless you like do stand up or do sketch comedy or like perform on stage, right? I would say he's a better actor than I expected. I would say maybe he could be a comedic actor, a funny actor, but I don't know if I would call him a comedian just yet. But he was funny. He was very sarcastic, had a dry wit. He would sort of be serious with the guest that he was with, but sort of give like a wink and a nod to the audience. But very good at keeping his composure. Because you can't give away too much. You can't be too much of an a-hole, because then the jig is up. These people will know that you're not having them in good faith. So he toes that line really well. And you have to, because that's what keeps your guests sitting there. You obviously have to keep them there as long as you can, right? Yasuki, thank you for the $5. Speaking of George Floyd, thank you for the $5. Da baby for 2. Wait, you didn't wait, didn't you also think Lady Ballers was funny? I did think it was funny. Freddie 1217. You forgot the book that starts. Okay, yeah. This was a great part of the of the film. He's in the bookstore, and he's like he's thinking about what books he needs to buy to start his anti-racist journey. He's like, He's like, can I even touch that book? Can I even pick that one up? And it's just a black book with like black font on it. And it just says the N word on it. Oh, so funny. And he was like, how would I even call up and ask for that book? Like and the woman's like, well, you just wouldn't say the title. You would just say, I'm looking for a book that starts with an N. And this whole documentary is just full of white people who make money off of other white people who feel bad about racism. That's it. That's the whole point. That's what he highlights. It was great. You liked it because it's like how you dressed up as that crazy one with the apples and honey. Oh, Gabby. Yes, making fun of them to their faces, but he really handled it beautifully. Like, because you can't outright obviously make fun of these people to their faces. You just have to toe the line and be like, oh, so we have to notice race, but don't notice race. Think about color, but don't think about color too much. Like he's just repeating back their points to them, and getting confused. Oh, he did a very good job, and I really appreciate that this had a nationwide theater release. You know, people complain all the time, oh, the right wing, the conservatives, we're not taking part in culture, we're not creating enough art. Well, here we are. Here, Daily Wire's doing it. They're really trying, you know, and they got this movie out into theaters. So, good for them. I think that's really cool. Let's pull this up. This was funny. This is from Matt Walsh a few days ago. I can neither confirm nor deny that I persuaded Robin DiAngelo to pay reparations to my black producer on camera. You have to watch the film and see for yourself. And trust me, you're going to want to see this for yourself. This was this was probably the funniest part of the whole movie. So this is the big fish, right? She is probably one of the biggest race grifters currently of our time. And so he's interviewing Robin. And he's like, well, and he calls over Ben, who they use liberally throughout this movie. They use him for a lot of different examples. It's Ben's a good sport, but also very good at keeping a straight face, right? Because if he cracks up, then he ruins it for everybody. So very high stakes here. And so Matt's talking to Ben. He's like, you know, I want to do something small. I want to do what I can. He just opens up his wallet and gives him what looks like $4 or $5 single dollars. Like, just here's $4. It's all I can do. And then Robin's like, that I found that to be really strange. And Matt was like, why? She's like, well, reparations, it's about a systemic change. And he's like, I'm not waiting for the system to change. I'm doing what I can as an individual right now. Like, he kind of calls her out and being like, I'm going to give him my own reparations in the form of these $4. And they basically get to a point where they get her to get up, go to her purse, open her wallet, pull out cash, and then give it to this guy, Ben. She gives him $30. And then they show the price tag. Like, what did Robin DiAngelo cost? To be on camera, maybe it was $5,000, and then they subtract, $30 from that total amount. Oh, it was funny. It was brilliant. Good job, Matt. Oh my God, this woman was friggin' insufferable. There's these two women, their names are escaping me right now. They do something called Race to Dinner. One is Syra Rao, which is this ugly mug right here, and then there's this other black lady whose name escapes me. But they run something called Race to Dinner, and it's only for white women. So, you invite these two women over, and you have like a big fancy catered dinner. And throughout the course of the dinner, they'll basically teach you like why you're racist and what you can do about it. Men are not allowed, right? And so Matt's like, how do I get in on this? How do I listen to this dinner? I'm not a woman. I'm not going to be able to. So he poses as a waiter. And he increasingly like chimes in more and more until they, I guess, to when we're there, like made uncomfortable by him too. And he ends up like dropping a bunch of plates. I don't know if that's on purpose or by accident, but that was pretty funny. A bit of a sight gag. But this woman is horrendous. She keeps talking about how horrible America is, that the whole country should burn. I can't stand these people that are so anti-America. If you hate this country so much, no one is keeping you here, girlfriend. Like, get up out of here. You can go ahead and go move to Haiti. Go move to literally anywhere. I wonder if this clip covers this.
I used to be a white woman, an unsuccessful one.
Yeah, he says, I used to be a white
I used to be a white woman.
What does that even mean?
I used to be a white woman, an unsuccessful one, for many decades, and it was a miserable experience. And really, the hatred of yourselves and each other is like the not seeing your power, the being afraid. Like all you do is talk shit about each other, talk shit about yourself. Oh my God, I'm so fat.
That's all they do. I'm telling you,
That's
white
him
women?
chiming in.
But it's that's it. It's I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I'm blah blah blah.
Sorry.
That has to be on purpose.
Your kids are watching you, and they're watching you talking shit about each other.
God, there was a scene, part of this dinner, where this gal is like, "Well, my husband's black, and one time we were out in public, and I told him to be quiet because he's kind of loud." And this woman, and the Indian chick is like, "That's tone policing. You tone policed your husband. Well, think about why you did that." I'm like, maybe he's just freaking loud.
Your kids are watching you, and they're watching you talking shit about each other, raging against the machine or being silent or whatever the hell it is that you're doing or not doing. And they know that you're not doing shit for them.
That's so important. That is so important what you just said. It's really important. That's all.
We may have to add you to our team.
Oh, I would love to take a seat.
That's all he
You're not allowed
wanted.
to.
Okay.
This
I
woman is such a
I do have
twat.
I have my DEI certification that I
This is so great. One of the best parts about this film is that Matt Walsh is like, he illustrates how anybody can become a DEI expert and thus grift off of the DEI industrial complex. He takes this simple like online course, like he gets this certification at like DEI.com or something, and he has this laminated card that he pulls out constantly throughout the film to prove that he is certified. So that's another funny part too.
that I got.
Okay.
So
Okay.
not saying I'm an expert, but I'm also not a novice. So okay.
White people are starved for these conversations.
We are. We're so starving.
Yeah.
We are so starving for this.
Anyone else want to say anything?
I'll just say one thing. I'm so glad we can have these conversations, and I'll be done. But I'm just so glad that we can all get together to have
I think
these conversations.
I think he almost maybe wanted to be recognized at this point because it was towards the end.
That's all I wanted to say.
Is he an actor? Are you an actor?
Oh,
Can
no.
you let us? We're trying to listen and trying to have this conversation.
Okay. We're all acting all the time in our lives. And I think that that's part of the problem, that it's like we're all trying to play a part rather than just being real and having these uncomfortable conversations. And that's what I'm always trying to tell people, especially, white women. No offense. But,
No, but see, like you're a white dude. There's power positions, and
Yeah.
it's pointing white people pointing fingers at each other is not helpful.
I've been on this journey for
It's
so
Indian
long.
women who need
And
to
just
point
to
the
see you guys at
fingers.
the table having this conversation has been really.
He just keeps saying that over and over. Like they're not saying anything. Oh, you're just having this conversation, but it's like, you're not discussing anything.
enlightening for me. Anyway, I got the DEI certification, and I'm just on the journey. All right, you ladies have a great night.
Okay.
He takes the champagne. It's like, I really wanted some of this prosecco.
Decolonize yourself.
What does that even mean?
Do your own white supremacy
Ugh,
dismantling.
what
And
does that
then
mean?
you can start to bring in other people.
Can I just say one last thing? Can I just propose a toast? Just raise a glass if you're racist. And that's the thing.
And then everyone raises it.
Cheers. Oh, I'm not racist. Let me
To
get my
racist, well,
glass.
all the
Oh,
rest of
sure. Too late. You already did it.
to racist.
The woman with
They
the
gonna say you
water.
racist.
Am I racist? In theaters.
Oh, cool. And then he had Bryson Gray's music feature. That was pretty cool. Tim Pool went and saw it. Matt Walsh blog and Daily Wire is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10. Packed theater in DC, everyone laughing the entire time. I laughed so loudly the whole time. I was like, ah. Oh, it was great. What is this? Not bad for an evil racist film. Oh my goodness. And they're doing demographics of who came out. Who cares? The best thing about this is from Olliefield Rando. I don't know who that is. The best thing about Matt Walsh's Am I Racist is how he gets leading figures of the anti-racist movement to admit that there are no paths to redemption for straight whites. Whatever path you choose, you're still the enemy, and they come right out and say it. Yup. That's a great point. Oh, this is a great clip. This is from DC Drano. Pretty hilarious clip from the Am I Racist movie detailing the Moana problem. If little girls gravitate towards Disney princesses that look like them, Dems think that's racist. But when the girls choose a darker skinned princess and want to dress like them, that's cultural appropriation. So by their logic, it's lose-lose, which means you should just ignore these clowns and let kids be kids. This was another kind of like diversity or anti-racist expert that Matt consulted.
My daughter's 4 years old. I am an anti-racist educator, quote unquote. She's still watching Disney movies and she is choosing a white princess over princesses of color.
Have you talked to her about that?
All of the time.
My 3-year-old.
Oh, I pray for this woman's daughter. My God. Poor thing. Yeah. It's turns out your 3-year-old is not woke.
Daughter is her favorite princess is Moana.
Love it.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
But then I also thought, there's a little bit of cultural appropriation here. She wants to be Moana for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we navigate that? Do I go and buy the Pacific Islander
woman is giving
native,
redheads a bad
attire
name.
for my white 3-year-old?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
But I guess what we might call the Moana problem here is what, on one hand, is
Moana
cultural appropriation.
problem.
On the other hand, there's gravitating towards white characters.
Right.
So it's almost like no matter which way you go, you end up back in racism.
We think every space belongs to us because we live in a white supremacist society.
Is America an inherently racist country?
I think the word inherent is challenging there. If we say fundamentally, yes. America is racist to its bones. All of the
So inherently.
Yeah.
They gonna say you racist.
He does a very good job at keeping a straight face during these moments. So Robin DiAngelo, of course, deletes her Twitter after this movie comes out. And of course, wow, deletes. Did all of these people delete their accounts? This is from Lowe's of TikTok. All the stars in Am I Racist deleted their accounts ahead of their release. What are they so afraid of? Matt simply let them share their views. Hilarious how they run and hide when their own words are shared. Kate or Slater, I think that was the redhead that we just saw. Sarah Samira Rao, that was the hateful Indian twat. And then Robin DiAngelo. Whoa. So, talk about fragility. Oh, boy. I bet he's thinking about other women. How did Matt Walsh get them to believe him in just a wig? It's because people don't know who he is, which he very much used to his advantage. Yeah, I think, let's see, Robin DiAngelo. I'm not spelling this right. I'm spelling her name wrong. Yes, she was tricked. Oh, this is in the New York Post. Why fragility author Robin DiAngelo gets tricked into paying reparations to Matt Walsh's producer. Oh, what a moron. That's great. I think that Whitey Robin DiAngelo should donate every damn cent of her royalties to reparations. Put your money where your mouth is, you bloody leftist hypocrite, monetizing racist division while sanctimoniously moralizing the worst kind of Pharisee. Ooh, Peterson. I deleted. So this is her statement. Let's see, what was her statement about? The film. Okay. Oh, Robin's statement. This is from Robin DiAngelo, PhD. Okay, so maybe we should put this on her website. Back in 2023, I was contacted by a group who claimed to be making a documentary film called Shades of Justice about efforts to address racism in the United States. They planned to interview anti-racist activists, authors, and thought leaders in service of supporting the cause of racial equity. They offered me between $10,000 and $20,000 for an interview. Why would she say that? I said, let's meet in the middle with $15,000. Oh, she charged $15,000. That's right. And I agreed to participate. I have donated that sum to the NAACP. Sure. Let's see the receipts, girl. When I arrived for the interview, a few things felt off. The grips would not make eye contact with me and the interviewer, who was introduced as Matt. First of all, the grips, it's not their job to make eye contact with you. It's their job to set up the set. That's weird. Who was introduced as Matt, appearing to be wearing an ill-fitting wig. Matt presented himself as someone new to anti-racist work and seemed earnest, and his questions did not come across as adversarial. Right, because he toed the line very well. But by the end, however, things got weird. Matt asked what I thought about reparations for Black Americans. I said that I agreed with reparations, but that it was not my area of expertise. He then pulled up a chair, invited a Black crew member who went by Ben to sit with us, took out his wallet and handed Ben some cash. He said that if I believed in reparations, I should also give Ben cash. Brilliant. While some Black people have asked white people to engage in reparations by giving directly to individuals, reparations are generally understood as a systemic approach. Oh, how convenient. To past and current injustice. The way Matt set this up felt intended to put Ben and I on the spot. Nah, Ben was fine. Ben was chill. Because Matt was pushing this on us, I expressed my discomfort and checked in with Ben to be sure he was okay with receiving cash this way. And Ben's like, yeah, I love cash. I'm not going to say no to cash. Ben reassured me that he was, so I went to my wallet and handed him my cash, and the interview ended. I was so unsettled by the way Matt manipulated this last scene that I emailed the contact person, who went by the name of Lee Hampton, to explain that the scene was not an example of reparations and could mislead viewers. I asked that they not use it in the film and shared several resources overviewing legitimate systemic efforts for reparations. He assured me that he understood and that they hadn't contacted me or answered an email. That's funny. Oh, it goes on. After reviewing the sequence of events and discussing it with colleagues, I realized that they had lied about their agenda and I had been played. I spread the word on my networks. Oh, okay. So maybe she torpedoed a couple of other potential interviews. Yeah, I was wondering if they were in talks with anybody else. Unfortunately, last month I started receiving hateful and misogynistic emails. Some reference the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's website, which announced that the film is indeed being released. It is not titled Shades of Justice, nor is it meant to support the anti-racist cause. It is a Borat-style mockumentary titled Am I Racist? And designed to humiliate and discredit anti-racist educators and activists. Well, that part is very true, and it does so quite well. Their deception was carefully planned and well-funded. The website they had sent me was fake, as well as their identities, the project title used in the legal waiver, their description of the project, and the last name they gave for Matt. The interviewer was, in fact, Matt Walsh, a far-right provocateur, backed by Shapiro and Daily Wire, and yes, wearing a wig. The co-CEO of the Daily Wire has stated, I can't think of a more appropriate film for the Daily Wire's first original theatrical release than Am I Racist? What Is a Woman changed the national conversation on racial gender theory, effectively killing the issue. And DEI is the next pillar of the woke mind virus that's about to topple. DEI culture is one of the most toxic plagues in American life. Am I Racist is not only about me, and I was not the only one who fell for their deception. Sadly, many of those being mocked are women of color, capital C. I have not seen the film, nor do I plan to watch it, so I don't know what they have used of my interview or how they have edited it. But if you see clips or the full film, consider the source, Matt Walsh. So who is Matt Walsh, and what is his and his backers' agenda? Luckily for us, he has clearly answered that question without shame, time and time again. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, Matt Walsh is a blogger and a talk show host for the Daily Wire website. He frequently demonizes LGBTQ people and promotes racist and anti-transgender conspiracy theories. Like what? Walsh leads a campaign against gender-affirming healthcare that has targeted, oh, you mean like not wanting to sterilize kids? That has targeted American hospitals with harassment and has advocated executing doctors who provide healthcare to trans people. Walsh is also known for perpetuating the notion of anti-white racism, which is grounded in white supremacy, and spreading conspiracy theories about supposed campaigns of anti-white violence. Shapiro and Walsh's previous film, Lady Ballers, is filled with misogyny, racism, and transphobia. Shapiro is also sponsored a film denigrating George Floyd. I think that was Candace Owens' film. This experience has reinforced for me how critically important it is to do in-depth background research before making yourself vulnerable to people you don't know or believing and sharing what you see online. They will not prevail in their efforts to stop the work for racial justice. Robin. Oh, she looked like such an idiot. She looked like an idiot. Wow, deactivated her whole dang account. Wowie, wowie, wowie. Let's see. What else? My favorite scene. Oh, from Am I Racist? Was after Matt Walsh gave Ben reparations. Robin DiAngelo had this horrified look on her face and said, "That was really weird." Exactly. That's what the average American thinks of all her woke racial ideology. It's ridiculous. Oh, God. This is where are they saying Republicans are Nazis? Is this the whole film? God, I guess they have it online. Wow. Maybe not. Maybe it's just some of it. Yeah, Robin DiAngelo is a moron. She just made herself look so stupid. Go see it. Support the Daily Wire. Support the fact that they're actually getting a film out to a nationwide release to the people. Rhinoceros, thank you for the orange boy. Let's play the ditty. Let's play the ditty. The oxyside needs to stop. Carbon clearly has not had its time under the sun. That's too smart for me. Thank you. Force Geek. What's up, Force Geek? Don't forget the Jussie Smollett reenactment. Of course. Oh, this is so great. So he's in Chicago for some reason, and he's like, well, I'm in Chicago. It's where do I go to eat? Yeah, he goes to Subway, and then right, he basically reenacts the whole thing while Juicy is I think he's with Robin, not Robin Quivers, the other Robin in mainstream news. The one who had cancer. I can't remember her name. But while he's explaining the whole story to her, he's reenacting it. And that was really funny and really well done. It's like, oh, they pulled bleach out of nowhere. They threw a rope around my neck. It just, you forget how ridiculous and unbelievable that whole Juicy story was. Erica, thank you for the pink boy. Oh my goodness, you're generous. Wow, reparations from Erica. Thank you. I will be sure to give this to a person of color, and since the bean is half Italian, probably a quarter Sicilian, I think he qualifies. So thank you, Erica. You're so sweet. Oh my God, Rhinoceros with the red boy. Thank you. My God, so freaking generous. Rhinoceros, I'm game to repair, not repay. Just saying. Just saying. Thank you, Rhinoceros. You the best. Little baby Guido. Yes, Robin Robbins. Thank you, Scott Miller. You get it. So good. It was so funny. And very cool. I mean, God, I can't imagine what it took to get this film in theaters nationwide. I think that's a huge accomplishment. It's a really big deal. There was, so at the end, At the end of the movie, Matt goes on to, oh, I just knocked my camera out. Look at that. This is what happens. I bumped my knee on the desk, and the camera just. This is what happens. The camera just unplugs itself. I'm back. Okay. So he's giving this seminar on, I think it's called just like doing the workshop. And he has a bunch of, obviously, well, actually mostly white, but a couple of like a Hispanic trans looking thing was in there too. And just there are these hilarious images on the chalkboard and like whiteboard behind him. And he's just like clicking through and, here, as the seminar goes on, a couple people are walking out. And then at the end, they wheel in Ben, the same black producer, wheels in Matt's Uncle Frank, racist Uncle Frank. And he goes, I got to call you out. This is the job of being anti-racist. You got to call out your racist family members. And he gets in his face, and he's in like a wife beater. And I think they must have shot this during the summer because he's like in just a tank top in the middle of this room in a wheelchair. And Matt's like, you're racist, Uncle Frank. You told that joke at Thanksgiving about the Mexicans. Like, what's the difference between a picnic table and a Mexican? A picnic table can support a family of 5. And that wasn't funny. And you're a horrible person, right? And then he kind of opens it up to the whole room, and he said, "Oh, does anybody else have anything they want to say to Uncle Frank and the one trans looking thing?" She's like, "Fuck you!" Like, she just says, "Fuck you" to poor Uncle Frank. And then this other white chick that's not wearing a bra, same thing, goes, "Fuck you!" Like, they all pile on Uncle Frank, and I'm like, this is not even your uncle. But the fact that Matt labeled him as racist and made it okay was just a very scary example of mob psychology. And that was a very interesting part of the film. Nathan C. for a new wall plate for the outlet for the outlets. What? You don't like my exposed holes? You don't enjoy an exposed wire? How embarrassing. How embarrassing that you can see my holes like that. What if I did that? Oh, sorry. What if we just did this? How about just don't look at it? Thank you, Nathan. The studio is coming along. I know. I'm so sorry. It's been taking months and months longer than I wanted. I am currently comparing cameras. And I have some wall samples coming in, I think next week. So it's crawling along, but it's happening. Anyway, I loved this film. Go see it if it's playing anywhere near you. You'll laugh the whole time. Wow, Am I Racist is the 3rd highest grossing movie in theaters with a stunning audience score of 99%. Wow. That is commendable. Wow. Robin DiAngelo. If anything, it just kind of kneecaps her, which is worth it for that reason alone. She is the one that's super racist. Syra Rao comes off as demonic. I would agree. She just went on such a whole tangent on how horrible America is. I can't believe you got Robin DiAngelo. My gosh. Good job. Good job. And there's another aspect to this. So this guy tried to review this movie reviewer, Jeremy Jahns, tried to review Am I Racist? And apparently got a pile on for it. The left has labeled Jeremy Jahns a racist and a sellout simply for reviewing my film. This is how they play the game. Viciously denounce anyone who positively acknowledges the existence of the film so that other critics will be too afraid to follow suit. We're at the point now where the left can't even, I assume that this Jeremy Jahns guy is a leftist, or actually it probably doesn't even matter. Maybe he's just a mainstream movie reviewer. but you can't even acknowledge this film. Or you'll be ostracized from your community. Here's from Matt Jarbo. Midlife crisis. Jeremy Jahns is not the villain origin story I was expecting. From the horror outlaw. Jeremy Jahns has always sucked. It's amazing people valued his opinion at all. Him being a racist and a centrist coward is not surprising in the slightest. Oh, okay. So you can't even be a centrist anymore. Got it. From someone with a trans flag in their bio. Confirmed racist. Just for reviewing a movie, just for doing his job. This other person, Resolution Blaze, can't think of the life for me why Jeremy Jahns would shine a light on a person like Matt Walsh and give him a shake, except that Jahns got a juicy offer from the Daily Wire in the form of connections or payments or some other form of transaction. Oh no, it can't just be that he is a movie reviewer reviewing a movie. Wow. Jeremy Jahns' reviews are usually on point. He's a man of common sense and logic, which means he's most likely a Republican. What does he have to say? Let's see if we can find him. Jeremy Jahns. Does he have a Twitter? People. What? That's it? Oh, he doesn't have much of a Twitter presence then, huh? All right, let's go to his YouTube. Okay, yeah, he's got a butt ton of subs on YouTube. Almost 2 million subscribers on YouTube. What did he say that was so bad? Bum, 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 bum. I show a movie, a show of movie reviews and comedy. That's his job. It's his literal job.
I'm going to be 100%. There was a part of me that was like, maybe I should just skip this one. Just move on to next week's videos, call this weekend good, and have that be that. But the fact that that entered my mind is kind of one of the points this movie makes. So at that point, I really felt I should talk about it. So here we go. So Am I Racist is a movie starring Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire. This movie is executed like a documentary, but he does play a Matt Walsh character. Matt Walsh plays Matt Walsh, who's on a DEI quest to decenter his whiteness. DEI being diversity, equity and inclusion? Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Yeah, I Googled it. Sue me. Now, unlike What is a Woman, which was on, I believe it was Daily Wire Plus. I believe that's their streaming service. I was like, I'm not signing up for another streaming service. No, I got enough. This is actually theatrically released. So I was like, all right. Bought a ticket and watched it. And I had already heard the comparisons from the trailer alone. It's kind of like conservative Borat. He's interviewing,
conservative
Borat. All the while the movie does ask questions.
My wife.
I do appreciate that. First off, Matt Walsh is surprisingly funny.
Yes.
I kind of didn't know that.
He is surprisingly funny. He doesn't come off funny in his show because he's not, I guess there's not much opportunity. He's delivering the news mostly and like think pieces. So that's cool that this gave him the opportunity to actually like fly his funny flag.
About him. I kind of got a glimpse of that when I saw that he crashed the Democratic National Convention
in his outfit
promoting this movie. Come on. That is funny. But there are scenarios and situations in this movie where he's talking to someone or a group. He has to think on his feet, and I thought he did a really good job. There's a big part of me that was like, how do these folks not actually know that he's Matt Walsh? There was one group that sniffed that out. They were like, I'm pretty sure that's Matt Walsh. That was before he had the disguise. Though even after the disguise, I have to think people figured it out eventually. Maybe they just didn't show it. The fact that the faces weren't blurred out means they signed the disclaimer.
I think because he looks like a lot of people. He looks like a kind of a standard issue white guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love a standard issue white guy, but I just don't think he has he's got a beard and great head of hair, but he kind of blends in a bit.
Form. I imagine they did that before they found out. I mean, before they found out it was Matt Walsh. Before they knew what this was. Definitely thought it was something else.
Yeah.
They found out it was.
Is it point to the most race? This guy was funny. This is his seminar at the end called like Do the Work Workshop. And he said, point to the most racist person in the room. And then he's like, you didn't think to point at yourself, did you?
Matt Walsh, were they able to be like, whoa. don't show us in the movie. Can I rip up that form? I have
Yeah,
questions I will
probably.
probably never know the answers to. I imagine
This is a great
people that
review
are in the
already,
movie
and it's
will
fair.
start coming out being like, oh yeah, that was edited one way to make it
How
look
could you
worse
have
than
a
it actually
problem with
was.
this?
One of the authors in the movie that he was
Oh.
interviewing has actually already made a statement. I didn't read the statement, but I just know she made one. There are some scenarios in this
scared.
movie where it feels like he is just trolling, like that group of ladies
Yes,
at their
yes,
sit
yes,
down dinner, and
yes.
he's being a clumsy
That was really great. Yeah, he must have dropped all those plates on purpose multiple times.
waiter dropping plates awkwardly. It's trolling for the sake of humor, which is funny in its own right, but there were other scenarios in the movie that gave me more.
Yeah, because he's not part of that conversation, so he's got to do something to make it funny and stir it up. You know, he can't be part of that group asking questions. So Matt probably thought, like, I have to catalyze something. I'll drop a plate. I'll see if they'll be like, call me out for my whiteness or something.
To
Which they
chew
did.
on that asked more of the questions that were more constructed to catch the interviewees on their contradictions or double speak, and that to me just has a bit more going on there.
Yeah. The example of like, so we have to see color, but then not see color, and we have to acknowledge race, but then not acknowledge it. We should smile at black people, but don't smile too much because then that's forced.
I mean, there's one segment where they go to this small town. I don't know where it was. I don't know, but they start talking to the townsfolk, and he starts, because he's still in character. He's like, "What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?" He's never thought about that in his life. I mean, it's funny, but it also is a
that represents real America. That is real America outside of the coastal elites and the cities and the New Yorks and the LAs and the Chicagos. I would say most of America is like that guy in the biker bar that he spoke to.
Of not everyone thinks like that. In fact, better said, most people don't think like that. That's kind of the point. Most people, black, white, Asian, Mexican, doesn't matter. When they wake up, they're not like, how can I keep race in the forefront of my mind today? But it feels like certain bubbles of social.
And then he interviewed what was his name? He wrote Hate Crime Hoax. What's his name? I'm looking it up. Who wrote Hate Crime Hoax? Author. Don't tell me. Not Brian Stelter. Oh, Wilford Riley. I think I've had him on the show. So he interviewed Wilford Riley, and at one point he says probably one of the best lines of the film, like, the demand for racism is more than the supply. So all these people that make their whole livings off of racism, they want you to be racist so that they can sell you their racist product, right? How to fix yourself, but there's not enough racism in the country to justify all these grifters.
Social media want people to want to, but it is a comedy, and a comedy has a job to do. That job, make the audience laugh. And it made me laugh. Sometimes it was a chuckle. Sometimes I laughed out loud. But it is at least clever enough or unique enough in its execution, in the way Matt Walsh is disguised as an ally with the people he's talking to. It's a calmer execution.
Yeah, his ally costume is just him looking a little more light in the loafers.
YouTube videos you might have seen on such subject matter. And I thought interesting questions or counterexamples worth asking or presenting were presented. Are these experts with their workshops and their books really trying to heal the world, make it a better place? Or are they perpetuating the problem, keeping it around because they found something to monetize? But all in all, had myself a good time and some good laughs. No alcohol required. So am I racist? Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Go ahead and create your...
So fair. He's not kissing his ass. He is not really stating his political opinions. What are the comments? The backlash Jeremy has received for just reviewing this movie proves how much the movie was needed. The fact that Jeremy not only reviewed this movie, but left the review up in spite of all the hate he's getting reminds me why I respect him. People accusing Jeremy of anything here are the true peer pressure simps. Jeremy, respect. I'm a dude playing the dude disguised as another dude. Don't apologize. Don't back down. Awesome. See, he's getting a lot of love in the comments. Wow. Unfortunate that someone reviewing a movie gets them called racist just because they don't like the person who made the movie. As far as I'm concerned, this makes this guy far more credible than every last mainstream critic. Wow. Good for him. Respect, Jeremy Jahns. I'll subscribe to your channel. Not like you need it. You have millions, but wow. And that's the review that got him all this hate. Unbelievable. No, very much believable. Thank you. Thank you again to Rhinoceros and for the hundo. So generous. And Erica. VIPs of the stream. VIPs of the stream. What else did I want to talk about? So yeah, this Jeremy Jahns guy's getting a ton of shit. Pissing off all the right people, though. Yeah, Matt Jarbo mocks Jeremy Jahns. Everyone. Okay, this is funny. This is a funny meme. Yeah, I should have left him a supportive comment. Good idea. Great job, Jeremy. Don't listen to the haters. Leaving it in all caps. Comment. Good job. Bink, 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 bink. Matt Jarbo mocks Jeremy Jahns for reviewing Am I Racist? Everyone who forgot Matt Jarbo existed now remembers he exists. Being unanimously unanimously mocking Matt. I can't read today. Matt Jarbo, chef's kiss. I don't even know who that is. Wow. I think things are beginning to lighten up. I think enough people have begun poking enough holes that it's beginning to weaken this kind of like bullshit fabric that society has weaved over the last 15 years or so. I think it's starting to have a difference. Can you feel it, guys? I can feel it. I feel like things are starting to crumble a little bit. Maybe I'm just an optimist, but go see Am I Racist if you can. If it's playing near you, you'll definitely laugh out loud. And if you're supporting, I would call it an independent film. Yeah. Should we play Among Us now? No, actually, I can't play it on StreamYard. I'd have to be streaming on OBS, which I'm not. So there. Let's see if I forgot any other funny aspects of the movie. I can't believe he used his real uncle. Oh, let me pull this up. This is more hate. More hate for the film. If this Google review doesn't convince you to see Am I Racist by the Real Daily Wire, Matt Walsh blog, nothing will. These people should be mocked. This is audience review from Am I Racist? One of the most racially insensitive documentaries that I have ever seen. It was nothing more than a spoof on the very topic of racism. Anyone who sat through this BS is definitely racist. I'm sure you already knew that. And everything about this movie tries to convince you that racism doesn't truly exist. The concept of DEI is a joke, and anyone who has ever been confronted with racism doesn't deserve to be listened to. It's not surprising that the reviews are so misguided. I guess we can make what we want out of any situation, which is exactly why you'd all say that you'd leave your spouse immediately if she cheated on you, but have no problems voting for an ignorant, racist narcissist who brags about grabbing you by your... Wow, this person is all over the place. Cheated on his wife with multiple... Who gives a what does this have to do with the movie? The people with TDS are like, oh my God, if Matt Walsh is bringing up your TDS, you got problems. Like, I don't even know if Trump was mentioned in this movie. Maybe once when they were like saying, they were talking about the Jussie Smollett attack, saying, oh, this is MAGA country. Wow, he has more felonies than anyone in any prison in this country and can't even answer a yes or no question. This would be a great documentary to show at one of his rallies because it brings out the dumb in people, and you should be ashamed to tell anyone that you enjoyed it. Oh, what a moron. A moronic woman wrote this. I know for a fact. Wow. From Verbal Riot. Oh, I've met him. This is exactly what I meant in my review. Me and Matt Walsh don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, especially weed, but I still stand on my opinion that Am I Racist is a hilariously good movie, and more critics should stop being cowards, do their job, and review it. Nice. Nice. Very cool. Wow. Just finished seeing Am I Racist in a packed theater in Tustin, California. Audience was cracking up from the first scene. Walsh was brilliant, aside from nuking the careers of DiAngelo. Do you really think this nuked her career? Ooh, that'll be interesting to see. It was actually one of the sweetest, most unifying films in a long time. Wait, this person's talking about Matt's this guy.
It should be noted at this point that I've mentioned in previous videos, but Matt
voice does not go with the face.
is just not very good at going undercover. He wears this terrible grandma ponytail wig everywhere like it's a calling card or something, but people still just recognize who you are, Matt. And this is coming from somebody who has a little bit of experience going undercover and not being recognized.
Okay. Sounds gay. What does this person think about it?
Recommend it. Really good.
Oh, black person. Let's listen.
So I just finished watching Am I Racist? And I'll definitely recommend it. Really good, thought-provoking movie.
Who sounds like a Spice Girl.
Absolutely hilarious. But while you're watching it, you have to keep reminding yourself that this isn't parody. This isn't a spoof. Because if you're familiar with, What is a Woman, for example, you know that he goes into real-life situations. And for some reason, they don't recognize him. I don't know how they don't recognize him. It makes me wonder
he looks
whether
like a lot of
really
people
are in their own bubbles and don't listen to dissenting views, because majority of the situations he walked into, he was not recognized. And it was one time where he was, which was absolutely hilarious. But the big takeaway from it is how much race hustling is such big business in this country. They're exploiting white guilt. They're exploiting those who have a sense of victimhood, those who have suffered trauma in the past. They're exploiting it to make a hell of a lot of money. So it's a very funny movie, but at the same time, it's extremely sad that people are falling for this nonsense. They want white people to hate themselves.
Yep.
And they want black people to hate themselves.
Yep.
To consider themselves powerless and unable to determine how successful they are in life. When you think about it, they want everybody hating themselves. They want everybody fighting and obsessed with race.
Either guilty or a victim.
And there's some nice moments in the movie where he speaks to just some regular people you might consider just by looking at them that, oh, maybe they're racist or whatever. People in biker gangs or things like that. It goes to the South, where you would think if anybody's experienced racism, it would be them. They would be talking about racism more than anybody else. And, the outcome will surprise you. It will not give it away. So I encourage you to go and watch the movie, to support the movie.
Because all these people just say, oh, you have to love each other. The bikers say that. And then the people just in this, he talks to regular black people in the South. And they're like, we just have to love each other. Stop being obsessed with race.
The jig is up. It really
the jig is up.
Anybody who sees this, the amount of money these people are making, of course they want to keep racism alive. Of course they want to have everybody obsessed with race. Just like everything else, it all comes down to money. It all comes down to the hustle. They don't care how many lives they ruin as a result. They don't care how much lies and false information they put out there, as long as they can make a hell of a lot of money. So defund. I just finished watching.
Oopsie, I missed the last part.
Money. So defund race hustling in this country. Please.
Woo!
It's about time.
See? And she's black. Listen to her. Very cool. Here's the premiere that I wasn't invited to for some reason. And Jeremy Pouring. Ooh. is. Cool. Awesome. Let's see. Oh. Let's see. Oh, this is a a new thread from Matt. Many have asked how it's possible that our new film Am I Racist hasn't been reviewed by a single mainstream critic, even with a 99% audience score and a verified hot rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a top 5 box office debut. Here is what's happening behind the scenes. Beginning in mid-August, we reached out to dozens of mainstream outlets offering an early screener of the film. Those outlets included Time, the Associated Press, IndieWire, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, New York Times, The New Yorker, and many others. We followed up to virtual silence. We did, however, receive a flurry of unprofessional emails from the independent critics who were enraged that we'd even ask them to review the film. One of them wrote that he won't waste any professional time on a movie opening in over 1,500 theaters because I was involved. So here's the email that says, absolutely not. Hardest decline. I will not waste a second of my professional time on Matt Walsh. Ugh, what a prick. Like, you review movies. You're not a brain surgeon, okay? You're not that special. Another critic stated that you'd have to strap me to a chair like Malcolm McDowell to get me to watch this thing. Absolutely not. Oh my God, these people are so self-important. Another wrote, ew, take me off this list. Sounds like something a woman would say. Ew. After it was clear Am I Racist was a hit, Variety attempted to cover for this oversight with the claim that Daily Wire did not screen the movie for critics. We've asked them to correct this. They have not. They still haven't posted a review, but I hope they do. Oh, wow. So Variety could not avoid it. They had to talk about it. So this is the snippet from the Variety article. Also opening this weekend, the conservative-leaning Daily Wire is putting the Matt Walsh-led prank feature Am I Racist in 1,517 locations. The film, which sees the internet commentator disguise himself a la Borat to expose leaders of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, grossed $1.9 million across Friday and preview screenings. That's incredible. What do you think the budget was for this? Maybe $1 million. I don't know. I'm sure they probably just were looking to break even and make a dent culturally, you know. Am I Racist should land in 4th place with rivals projecting a 4.6 million opening, an ample start for the oh wow, what do I know about movies? It was a $3 million budget. Okay, whoa, movies are expensive. Jesus. Whether it can be a conversation starter and reach viewers beyond Walsh fans will play out in the coming days. The film, which did not screen for critics, is a hit with its target demo, landing an A grade on CinemaScore. Wow, very cool. Forcing them to acknowledge it. I love it. A few other mainstream outlets have since requested screeners, but have yet to publish a review. One major mainstream outlet even acknowledged we had attempted to get them an advanced screener, but said the film had slipped through the cracks. Oh, I love this. Wow. This isn't a mistake. You'd be hard-pressed to find another film that opened in 1,500 theaters that was completely snubbed by mainstream critics. If I Am Racist were terrible, these outlets could have reviewed it and trashed it. But the reality is that they're afraid of it. Am I Racist has been so successful precisely because we didn't churn out another safe, predictable Hollywood-style film. If you haven't watched the movie that mainstream critics desperately don't want you to see, you can get your tickets now at amiracist.com. One last thing. Rolling Stone was one of the first outlets to request a screener for review after the movie was announced back in July. They've yet to post a review, which is a bummer because I was looking forward to theirs most of all. Probably because they wanted to have a scathing review, and they can't do that because the film was actually decent. Wow. That is cool. Yep, Variety playing the damage control game. Don't you see? After ignoring the film's success, they now claim that Am I Racist wasn't screened for critics, as if that's the reason for their radio silence. Convenient excuse, isn't it? It's almost like they're trying to cover up the fact that they were never planning to review it in the first place. You offered them screeners, followed up, they chose to ignore it. Now that it's a hit, they're scrambling to justify the oversight. Yeah, let's be real. If the movie had bombed, they'd be the first in line to tear it apart. But because it's actually resonating with audiences, they're left with no choice but to spin the narrative, claiming the film wasn't screened for critics. It's just another way to avoid engaging with a movie that challenges their ideological bubble. And even now, after being called out, they refuse to correct their mistake or post a review. It's almost as if they're hoping this will all blow over. But the fact remains the audience has spoken, and they can't ignore the 99% audience score and box office numbers forever. Wow, this is great. I hope Matt and the gang are very proud of themselves. This is cool. Making a cultural dent. Good job. Hello, Sam. Thank you for the 5. Chrissy, if you didn't already know, when you next play Among Us, the beans you have are used to buy accessories, pants, hats, nameplates, etc. Oh, so the beans are like currency. It's like coins. Thank you, Sam. I will do that. I will buy myself a new outfit in Among Us. Grab America. That's right. I grabbed it. And I'd grab it again. Thank you for the super chat. Rhinoceros. Thank you, Rhinoceros. I would have grabbed it, but Kevin Bacon had tremors. Deranged lunatic. I got news for them. I don't have any white guilt. And Chrissy, thanks for having Ashton on last night. It was good to see her again. I love Ashton. She is a sweetheart. And she's a treat for the eyes. Wow. Okay. Okay, very cool. Very cool. In conclusion, go see Am I Racist? Props to Matt Walsh and the gang for putting this out. Good job. Affecting culture. Woohoo. And you don't have to be like, oh, obsessed with, you don't have to love everything the Daily Wire does to go support this movie. You don't have to be like, well, I don't like their stance on the X issue or Y issue. Who cares? Just we're trying to support like independent films and shit. It's not Hollywood. So there. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the super chats. We got more interviews coming up this week. And today's my dad's birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Dad. He would have been 78 today. Kind of bummed out, but anyway. Tomorrow I'll be interviewing Star Wars Theory at 9 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, I'm interviewing Anthony Constantino, who is the CEO of Sticker Mule, very based company, at 2 p.m. Eastern. Then I'll be on Who Are These Podcasts at 5 p.m. I'm not sure if that's going to be live or not, but I will let you know. And then, of course, Thursday is Nightlife at 9 p.m. Eastern, and Friday is FNT at 4 p.m. Eastern. Geeks and Gamers is live now playing Among Us. Oh, boy. Did they steal that idea from me? Maybe. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Love you all. See you guys tomorrow.